Okay, so we all know the infamous convenience in Japan, like Family Mart, 7-Eleven, Lawson's, and their godlike food and bentos. Family Mart chicken is basically a holy grail to many people. But today, I want to introduce you to my holy grail, Japanese supermarkets. For 24 hours, I'm only going to be consuming anything that came from a Japanese supermarket. And that's not a challenge, that's basically my life here. Just to really show you the convenience that is there, not even just in convenience here in Japan, but even in supermarkets. And honestly, the biggest life hack of living here is just going to the supermarkets just before closing time. They have like everything reduced, like all the bento stuff and all the salads and sides and everything. And only buy them reduced, like that's way cheaper. And then just go there and get everything, and that stuff's gonna be good for like a week or something. Like they say, oh, reduced, we need to get rid of this right now. But basically you get like a super fresh meal that can last you in the fridge for another few days, and that's, yeah, I basically just stock up then and eat that. Oh yeah, maybe I should also quickly tell you, hey, I'm Hannah and I live in Tokyo as an art student, and yeah, I make videos about my life sometimes. Japanese supermarkets are always huge, like huge. And maybe that's coming from me because I'm sure that in America supermarkets are huge as well. But where I come from, Germany, like the countryside, our supermarkets are like super small and there's only just a tiny like amount of stuff available that you can get there. Obviously like fresh produce and everything is there and bread and stuff. But like in Japan, I feel like in a supermarket you can get like near to everything. They are like conbinis, and conbinis are like smaller and they seem to have everything, but a supermarket is just like 10 times that size, and there's just even more stuff there, so you really can get like anything edible that you would love or want to. So of course you've got like your fresh produce section, but also like the section for meat, fish, pickled stuff. And then of course my favorite section, the pre-made food section or the bento section, which just has anything that you would want to eat just readily made. You can just heat it up in your microwave at home, eat it like cold if it's a cold meal or something, or you can even heat it up in the supermarkets most of the time. They have like microwaves and hot water supplies and everything, so if you want to eat right then and there, that's also often a possibility. For that day specifically, I walked somewhere to a supermarket, which was like a very nice walk. It was the first day in Tokyo actually where it got like a little bit colder, so it was quite nice, but in the middle of it started to rain, which was not as nice. But what I had for breakfast then was one of the infamous egg sandwiches, and yes, you can also get these in conbinis, but just like as a price comparison, I feel like sometimes they're cheap in the supermarkets, especially if you can get one with like reduced price and everything. So I'm gonna put just like the prices of everything that I eat today as well, so you can get like a feeling of how expensive it is to eat out here in Japan. People often say that eating out here is cheaper than making the food yourself, and I think all in all, if you were like really determined to eat super cheap, then cooking your own meals would be cheaper. But that would have to come with a lot of time, preparation and calculation. Just fresh produce is just also very expensive, and you would need to look at like what is in season, what is on offer that specific day, and then you need to plan your meals around that. So to be quite honest, I don't have all that time to put all the time into planning my cooking. So for me, it feels actually cheaper to eat out or eat like these reduced meals, and they come with just as much nutrition. I feel like I'm eating so much healthier since I've been here in Japan. Like my skin cleared up so much, and I attribute that a lot to natto and all the other amazing foods that I'm eating here. Or I just do feel a lot healthier. Even though I'm only eating ready-made meals, and that's kind of weird, isn't it? Probably, yes, they do have a lot of sodium. I looked at the ingredient lists as well, like sodium, and of course some meals you have to be careful with the oil content, if they're fried stuff, like don't eat just fried chicken. I mean, eat the fresh salads that come as well in those supermarkets as well. We're gonna see that later. Though of course also do want to try cooking, because like you've got all the cooking ingredients right then and there in those supermarkets, like it really makes you want to cook. But it is a hassle, and it is probably, if you calculate it all up for one meal, might be like a little bit more expensive unless you really plan it out and really plan, okay, what to eat, when to eat, where to buy, what to buy. Then it is probably cheaper. Like, it's a lie that eating out in Japan is like cheaper than cooking. Like, cooking probably still is cheaper. You just need to buy the right things at the right time. But yeah, again, back to breakfast. I had like also a tea, which I bought in the supermarket. No, okay, that is a lie. I actually bought the tea at like a vending machine. I'm sorry, I know this is a challenge and I already failed at breakfast, but I was on the way to the supermarket and there was just this vending machine glaring in my face, and it's 100 yen for a drink, okay? So let's just calculate it in there. It would have been the same kind of price if I bought it in the supermarket. And I also had a jelly, because somehow Japan really figured out how to make jellies. Like, I'm not a big fan of jellies, or I never was one, because the consistency is so weird to me. But here in Japan, they just taste amazing. So that's why I also had a jelly. Makes me, like, reminds me, I'm gonna write that on my shopping list right now, that I need to buy more jelly. Also, that egg sandwich was amazing. Japan's egg sandwiches are amazing. I've already had homemade ones as well. Like one of my friends here in the share house made one. He made one for like our whole house. He made egg sandwiches and they were just as good as in the supermarket. I need to like get the recipe or something. I don't know, but I figured out how to make the perfect fluffy, no crust, soft, but also chewy sandwich. I don't know, like come here and try egg sandwiches. For lunch, I just wanted to show you a quick kind of like, it's not ready-made meal, but supermarket meal, which goes super cheap because natto is just super cheap here, and tuna as well, like fish, and if anything fishy. In Germany, if I would have bought sashimi like at a supermarket, I would have paid more than 10 euro at least or something like that, you know, but sashimi here is super cheap, especially if you can get it reduced in the evening. For this meal, I used like tuna in a packet. You can also use canned tuna or anything, it's super cheap as well. And just threw it all together on the rice, heated it up and chopped it up with like umeboshi. You can buy those in a pack as well. Like one pack of umeboshi lasts me for like a week or something. I love that kind of stuff. And all together calculated, I'm gonna put the price there as well. That was a super cheap meal as well. So if you are kind of in between wanting to cook and eating the ready-made meals, you can like find some super good deals as well in that way. And then I went again in the evening and got like the great reduced stuff. Yeah, oh my god, when I tell you they have everything, anytime I go in there I get hungry. I can't enter a convenience or a supermarket without buying something or going out of there. And of course I do leave a lot of money, but I think all in all it actually kind of comes out okay. I mean, if we calculate everything together that I ate that day, I'm gonna show the price right here. Might seem a bit expensive if you were to do that every day. Most days I actually don't eat everything from the supermarket. Most days my breakfast is kind of like porridge, because that's also cheap. Porridge or rice with natto or something, and that's like 1 euro if you calculate it all together. Like bananas are also the only cheap fruit here, so I eat a bunch of bananas. I feel like this video turned into me trying to justify why I don't cook in Japan. I'm sorry. The truth is I don't, and I love cooking. Like if you know anything about me or this channel, I do love cooking. I don't feel the need to cook here. Just so much good food is already available, and also like I eat out sometimes with friends, or like if I come home from university really late because I have a long commute 3 days a week. I don't come home before like 8 p.m. and I really don't want to start cooking then. And then also the fact that I live in like a house with a lot of people who all share a kitchen. Price wise, convenience and supermarkets, you need to just look when to buy what, because like I was at the convenience just a few hours ago and I bought a salad there. And that was actually just as cheap as the salads from the supermarket. It really depends when you go and what you buy. If you want like a full-sized bento, that's probably actually cheaper at the supermarket with the reduced price, not with the real price. Like never buy anything from the supermarket with the real price unless you've got money to spend. I always wait until they put at least like 20% off or 40% off if you get really lucky. I feel like most days that way I also get away cheaper than eating out, because like eating out is also cheap. Maybe I might make like, that will be in my next video, eating out in Japan for a day. Like you can get super cheap donburi bowls or stuff like as well for like 500 or 600 yen. Also, I think it wouldn't be fair to also acknowledge the plastic problem here in Japan. Yes, everything I ate today came packaged in plastic, and yes, even if I were to cook myself, each of the ingredients always are packaged in plastic. Like you get bananas packaged in plastic. You get individual like apples packaged in plastic, you know. It's just everything is in plastic here. Like there's nothing you ever get that is without plastic. That's just the way that it is in Japan. And I don't know, I feel like the people actually don't see it like as a big problem here, and for some reason you also don't get the like sense that plastic is a problem here, because you never see trash left anywhere. Even though Japan has like no trash cans around, people really are careful about separating their trash into like burnables. And then that's the weird thing though, they burn plastic, like plastic goes into the burnable trash sometimes when you can't clean it. But yeah, just acknowledging that like living plastic free in Japan is near to impossible. No, I would say actually it is impossible. I just wanted to also acknowledge that though, because yes, I am aware that plastic is one of the big polluters of our earth, and I'm just sitting here saying, ooh, I eat cheap supermarket bentos every day packaged in like stuff that will be here for the next 100 years. Yes, my plastic consumption is through the roof where I'm living here. But in a way, there's not much I can do about that other than try to recycle my stuff correctly, and reduce where I can, when I can. So, okay, anyway, I talked a lot, but thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, you can give it a thumbs up. To wrap it up, thank you so much for watching this video. Have a nice day, have a nice night, wherever you are, and bye, me back on my channel. And yes, this is what happens if you put your camera on not a very safe space right now.